Hi guys, welcome back. Today we are going to learn to simplify, add, subtract, multiply and divide surds. We've got 4 success criteria and the first one is to simplify surds. A surd is a square root which cannot be reduced to a whole number. So we need to decide if any of the following are surds. Well, these numbers are all surds. Square root of 3 would be a decimal, but the square root of 4 and the square root of 9 and the square root of 121 would all be whole numbers. So they're not surds. So we need to know our square numbers up to 15 squared. So there's the first 5 square numbers. There's the next 5 square numbers. And there's the next 5 square numbers. So we want to simplify the square root of 20. So we need to think about what square number goes into 20. Well, 4 is a square number and it goes into 20. So we can rewrite the square root of 20 as the square root of 4 times 5, which we can rewrite as the square root of 4 times the square root of 5. Now we know the square root of 4 is 2, but we can't square root 5, so that stays as root 5. And 2 times root 5 can just be written as 2 root 5. This time we want to simplify 3 root 50. So this means 3 times root 50. So if we think about a square number that goes into 50, so 25, so root 50 can be rewritten as root 25 times 2, which we can rewrite as 3 times root 25 times root 2. Now we know the square root of 25 is 5, and 3 times 5 is 15. So our answer is 15 root 2. Here's a question for you to have a go at. Pause the video, and when you're ready to see what you should have done, press play. So here we want to simplify root 60. So think about what square number goes into 60. You want the biggest square number. And the biggest square number that goes into 60 is 4. So we can rewrite root 60 as root 4 times 15, which we can rewrite as root 4 times root 15. We know the square root of 4 is 2, so we can simplify it to 2 root 15. Here's another question for you to have a go at. Pause the video, and when you're ready to see what you should have done, press play. So in this question, we want to simplify 5 root 54. So root 54 can be rewritten as root 9 times 6, which we can rewrite as 5 times root 9 times root 6. The square root of 9 is 3, so that's 5 times 3 times root 6, and 5 times 3 is 15. So we can simplify it to 15 root 6. Here are some questions for you to have a go at. Pause the video, and when you're ready to mark your work, press play. Here are your answers. So you can mark those. Here are some more questions for you to have a go at. Pause the video, and when you're ready to mark your work, press play. Here are your answers. So there's your green answers. There's your amber answers. There's your red answers. And there's your purple answers. The greens made rocket. The ambers made asteroid. The reds made planets. And the purples made black hole. So now we've completed success criteria 1. So now we're going to move on to number 2, and this is to multiply and divide surds. So if we want to simplify root 3 times root 6, we can simply just multiply the numbers together. So we do root 3 times 6, which is 18. So we've got the answer root 18. Now we can simplify root 18 because root 18 can be written as root 9 times root 2, which is 3 root 2. In this question, we want to do root 12 divided by root 6. So here, we can simply divide the numbers. So 12 divided by 6 is 2. So our answer is root 2. In this example, we want to multiply root 12 times root 12. If we multiply 12 and 12 together, we get root 144. And the square root of 144 is a square number. So the square root of 144 is 12. That's because when we times a surd by itself, we get the number that's inside the surd. So root a times root a would just be a. This time, we want to multiply 5 root 2 times 2 root 6. So we can start by multiplying the numbers in front together. So 5 times 2 is 10. And then we can multiply the surds together. So root 2 times root 6 is root 12. Now we can simplify root 12 because that's root 4 times 3. The square root of 4 is 2. And then we can multiply 10 and 2 together. So our final answer is 20 root 3. Here's a question for you to have a go at. Pause the video, and when you're ready to see what you should have done, press play. So here we want to simplify root 3 root 8 times 4 root 10. So we can multiply 3 and 4 together, which is 12. And we can multiply root 8 and root 10 together, which is root 80. Root 80 can be simplified because it's root 16 times root 5, and the square root of 16 is 4. We can then multiply 12 and 4 together, so that's 48. So our answer is 48 root 5. Here are some questions for you to have a go at. Pause the video, and when you're ready to mark your work, press play. Here are your answers. So there's your green answers. There's your amber answers. And there's your red answers. And now we've completed success criteria 2. So now we're going to move on to number 3, and this is to add and subtract surds. So if we want to simplify root 12 plus root 12, we simply need to say how many root 12s we have. And we've got 2 root 12s. Now we can simplify root 12 because it can be root 4 times 3. And the square root of 4 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4, so our final answer is 4 root 3. In this question, I want to simplify root 5 plus 3 root 5, take away 7 root 3 plus 2 root 3. So I can add the root 5s together. So I've got 1 root 5 plus 3 root 5. So that's 4 root 5. Then I can do the root 3s, and I've got minus 7 root 3 plus 2 root 3. So remember, think about how many root 3s you've got. Minus 7 plus 2 would be minus 5. So we've got minus 5 root 3. In this question, we want to simplify this. So we start by looking at the root 18s. And we've got 2 root 18, take away a root 18. So that would just be 1 root 18. Then we've got plus 4 root 2 on its own. And we've got plus 7 root 6 on its own. Now root 18 can be simplified. And it simplifies to 3 root 2. Now we've got another root 2, we've got 4 root 2, so we can add both of those together. 3 root 2 plus 4 root 2 would be 7 root 2. Plus 7 root 6. Remember, we can only add surds that are the same together. Here are some questions for you to have a go at. Pause the video, and when you're ready to mark your work, press play. Here are your answers. So there's your green answers. There's your amber answers. And there's your red answers. This time, we want to expand this double bracket. So we need to use the grid method because we need to times everything together. So we've got 3 plus root 2 times 4 minus root 2. So remember, we need to times each term together. 4 times 3 is 12. 4 times root 2 is 4 root 2. 3 times minus root 2 is minus 3 root 2. And root 2 times minus root 2 would be minus 2. Then we can add all these together. So 12 take away 2 is 10. And 4 root 2 take away 3 root 2 would just be 1 root 2. So our answer is 10 plus root 2. Here's a question for you to have a go at. Pause the video, and when you're ready to see what you should have done, press play. So in this question, I want to multiply together 4 plus root 5 times 2 minus root 5. So I've got 4 plus root 5 and 2 take away root 5. And I'm timesing everything together. So 4 times 2 is 8. 2 times root 5 is 2 root 5. 4 times minus root 5 is minus 4 root 5. And root 5 times minus root 5 would be minus 5. Then I can add everything together and simplify it. So I've got 8 take away 5, which is 3. And 2 root 5 take away 4 root 5 would be minus 2 root 5. So my answer is 3 minus 2 root 5. Here's some questions for you to have a go at. Pause the video, and when you're ready to mark your work, press play. Here are your answers. So there's your green answers. There's your amber answers. And there's your red answer. And now we've completed success criteria 3. So now we're going to move on to number 4, and this is to apply to problem-solving questions. So this question says, find the area of the shape below. Give your answer as a surd in its simplest form. So to find the area of a triangle, we need to do the base times by the height divided by 2. So we do root 6 times root 8 divided by 2. Now root 6 times root 8 is root 48. And we can simplify root 48 and say root 16 times 3. And root 16 is 4. So it simplifies to 4 root 3. Then we can divide it by 2. So that would be 2 root 3. So our answer is 2 root 3 centimeters squared. Here's a question for you to have a go at. Pause the video, and when you're ready to see what you should have done, press play. So this question says, find the area of the parallelogram below. Give your answer as a surd in its simplest form. So to find the area of a parallelogram, we do the base times the perpendicular height. So we do root 3 times root 24, which is root 72. Now we can simplify root 72 to 6 root 2. So our answer is 6 root 2 centimeters squared. Here are some questions for you to have a go at. Pause the video, and when you're ready to mark your work, press play. Here are your answers. So there's your green answers. There's your amber answers. And there's your red answers. And now we've completed success criteria 4. So now that we've completed the last objective, it's time to end the video. Hope you enjoyed it and I hope you found it useful. Make sure to like and subscribe and be sure to check out the videos on the rest of the channel. I'll see you next time. See ya.